Sometimes people have a little bit of difficulty figuring out when to average numbers together and when to just take the numbers from the data set for the 5-number summary. So I just want to do a couple examples of this. It's nothing terribly complicated. Suppose here's our data set and we want to find the 5-number summary, which I just want to say, you would not take a data set this small and find a 5-number summary for it. You save the 5-number summary for data sets that are much larger, but I know you don't want to deal with those at this point in time and maybe never. So I want you to understand where the 5-number summary comes from, but I also want you to understand you wouldn't do that for a small list of data like this. You just say, here's the data, because it's not too much to comprehend. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 data points. Our smallest is 1, our biggest is 50, 2/5 done. If we count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have a number 12 in the middle, right? And that's our median, because half above and half below. If we have an odd number of numbers, then we're going to have a middle one to use for the median. We do not count that as part of the data set. I'm sorry, we count as part of the data set. We do not count it as part of the lower half or the upper half. So now we're looking at the lower half. We got 5 numbers there. The middle one of those is going to be the median. And we got 5 numbers in the upper half. The middle one of those is going to be not the median, but the 3rd quartile, the 1st quartile. So again, a quarter of the data between 1 and 3, a quarter between 3 and 12, 12 and 30, and 30 and 50. Okay, so that's sort of our ideal situation where we have an odd number of overall data points and an odd number in the top and bottom half. But what if we don't? Let's get rid of our 50 here. Let's shrink this data set by 1. Now we've got 10 data points, which means there's not going to be a middle point. So we count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our 2 middle data points are 8 and 12. We know it's halfway between 8 and 12. That's going to be 10. Our minimum is 1. Our maximum now is 40. And that divides our data up into a bottom half and a top half. Our bottom half has 5 in it, so we do have a middle number there to use for Q1, and we have a middle number there to use for Q3. Okay, so slightly different than using all points out of the data. Here we had to average 2, but then our 1st and 3rd quartile came straight out of the data set. Let's shrink it by 1 again. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 data points. So we do have a middle one. Our middle one is 8. So we got 1, we got 30. Those are easy. Our middle one's 8. And remember, we don't count 8 in the lower half or the upper half. So our lower half now has 4 in it. We're going to have to average the 2 and the 3 to get the 1st quartile. So 2.5. And then we have to average the 17 and the 23, which will give us 20 for the 3rd quartile. Okay, so depending on how many numbers you got, this can feel a little bit different. You may or may not have needed that, but if you did, you got it.